here we go. Well, you guys want... Well, I'm not going to talk about what exactly you guys want. Most of the smarks, they want Bray Wyatt to, they wanted him to beat John Cena in this feud. And he already beat Daniel Bryan. And they want him to beat Chris Jericho right now. So basically, you want Bray Wyatt, smarks, not exactly you guys, want Bray Wyatt to dominate, tear apart almost all of the main babyfaces. But what else is going to be left for Bray Wyatt after he beats John Cena, he beats Daniel Bryan, he beats Chris Jericho? Sheamus is the next logical step down once again. Does anybody want to see Bray Wyatt, Sheamus? I don't. And I'm pretty sure the smarks don't. But please explain to me, name me one time a heel ran through the entire babyface roster. Just ran through them all. In the 80s, did anybody run through the babyface roster, including Hulk Hogan? Did that ever happen? Did anyone in the Attitude Era ever just run through the entire, all the babyfaces, including Stone Cold? Anyone just run through The Rock, Stone Cold, and Mankind in 3 straight rivalries? Did that ever happen? Did that ever happen with Bret Hart on top? Did that ever happen? Well, I'm not sure if that ever happened to San Martino in his 8-year run, because he never lost. So, did that ever happen with Bob Backlund's 2 separate 1,000-year reigns? No, I don't think that ever happened. So, why do you guys want it to happen now? I mean, why do you want Bray Wyatt to completely dominate all the baby faces when history has that never has happened? The history of the WWE, that never happened. He could do other promotions, but the way Vince books, and the way his dad booked, and the way he runs his show like a TV show, not a wrestling company, the way he's booked. So why would anybody expect that to happen? And why anybody would be upset when it doesn't happen is completely beyond me. It's clearly Vince runs it a certain way, so why are you upset that he's running it that way? I mean, you could be upset at the way he runs it, but that's not the argument. The argument is you're upset what they're doing with Wyatt. But that's not exactly what that would be. Why is Vince doing that argument? Because they're the only company they're the biggest company in the world, so why wouldn't Vince do it? So that's one of my points that I didn't make before. Bray Wyatt going over Daniel Bryan, it already happened. Goes over John Cena. Then he goes over Chris Jericho. Okay, now who's next? Who's left? He just ran through 3 of the top babyfaces you could run through in the WWE. You want him to run through these guys in basically his rookie year? Does that make any sense whatsoever? It's not that it doesn't make any sense, because it doesn't. This doesn't follow any history. It doesn't mesh with anything that happened in the past. I mean, there's nothing you can point to that you can say, well, look at this happened, and this worked for this guy, and nothing's ever happened. The only time a heel's had a dominant run is when he was fed to a top guy like Undertaker. He got fed to Hulk Hogan, Kane, Stone Cold, or The Undertaker, something like that. When you have a dominant heel, goes on an undefeated streak, it looks real strong. The only reason why they're doing that is so they can lose to the top guy, and there's history you can point to that. But there's no history that can point for the smarks, and your guys aren't completely on board, because you said Cena should have beat Wyatt, but not in the way that happened. But there's also guys who rebounded from insulting losses like The Undertaker this Tuesday in Texas. So it's not impossible to rebound from that kind of stuff. But there's no history to cite to the people's weird fantasies that Bray Wyatt completely dominates everybody. But there is history, according to my philosophy, that Bray Wyatt dominates a lot, beats everybody, and then eventually starts losing after he loses to the top face. What did The Undertaker do after he lost to Hulk Hogan? I mean, was he wrestling, in the next spot down? No, he was farther down the card than he was before he had arrived with Hulk Hogan. So, but I mean, at least he wasn't fighting for the Intercontinental title or anything like that after he had arrived, after he lost to Hulk Hogan. He wasn't still in the main event picture. He was bumped from the main event picture, and he's fine. So, there's no history really point to. And that's never happened in history of WWE. I'd like to see if it did happen. I don't remember a heel beating Mankind in a feud, beating The Rock in a feud, and beating Stone Cold in a feud in a matter of 6 to 8 months. I don't remember that ever happening. I don't remember anyone beating Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, and Andre the Giant in a feud. if they are all babyfaces, because they were all babyfaces I think around the same time. They might have been all babyfaces at one time, and just bring a young heel in, have Ted DiBiase come in the WWF, have beat all three guys, and did that happen? No. Ted DiBiase Hall of Famer? Yes, but not for the stuff he did in WWE. But it's not Bray Wyatt's not going to go somewhere else and have a better career. So that's just my new point that I'm trying to make. That I don't think I made that somewhat like it before, but I didn't bring in really the history of what you guys are trying to say. Because what I'm trying to say is, you can't point to WCW. You can point to a guy like Vader in WCW and say, well, he ran through the entire babyface roster. But yeah, that's a different TV show. They run it differently there. They don't run it the same. They don't run it the way Vince runs it. So you can't say, well, why do they use a laugh track on Seinfeld if they don't use it in Malcolm in the Middle? Different TV show. They work it a different way. You're not going to have. It's just completely. It's not a good argument to make if you're trying to compare one guy to another guy from a different TV show. You can't say, well, they booked Vader strong. Look what happened to Vader. Vader's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, and he probably is. But it's a different TV show. They ran it differently there. There was babyfaces set up for Vader to beat. Bray Wyatt, it's not the same. The heels are set up for the babyfaces to beat. It's always been that way. Starting back to the 1950s. It doesn't take much research to look at Wikipedia and history of WWE Championship to realize what I'm talking about. You don't have to read a book. You don't have to watch all boring matches. It takes 2 seconds. Wikipedia. It's not the most reliable website, but they're not lying that Bruno Sammartino had like 8-year reign. That's not just something somebody made up online. So this is just my argument. Never happened in the history of WWE. And why are people upset that it's not happening now? I think it's a good argument. I don't know what you guys think. Whatever. Comment. Subscribe, I guess.